Question number 8 on the writing and language portion of College Board's Test 5. Because CT scanners can map objects that are impossible to excavate, CT scanning and 3D printing can also be used to reproduce fossils that scientists cannot observe firsthand. So this is talking about the additional perks of using this technology because you can map objects that are impossible to excavate. So you can't exactly dig them up, but you can scan them and then you can model them. By contrast, so contrast is like a reversal, researchers from the National Museum of Brazil has relied on this technique to study the fossilized skeleton. No, they use this technique. It's not by contrast. We're actually going along with what we just said before. So I don't like that by contrast is a reversal in logic when we want to go along with this idea and say we are using CT scanning in order to understand fossils that we cannot observe firsthand. And this is exactly what they did at the National Museum of Brazil. They relied on this technique to study a fossilized skeleton that was discovered protruding from a rock. Nonetheless is also a reversal. Nonetheless is saying, I said this thing before, but I'm going to talk about something else now. I don't like how A and B are both contrast words. They are reversing the logic of what is about to be said. Look at C though, besides. Besides means it's additional piece of information. Almost as if like I provided information, but even besides that, like don't even worry about that because I'm going to talk about something that's like, that better supports it. But in a way there is in besides also an embedded reversal of logic. That we're talking about, well, but what we said before doesn't really matter. Here's a new thing. I think actually this provides an example in the National Museum of Brazil on how scientists can use CT and 3D printing in order to better understand fossils, which is exactly what D says, for example. So we're talking about a broad abstract concept. Let me say, for example, researchers have done this. The answer number 8 is going to be D.